What's going on, guys? Thanks for joining me today. It's Steven from LearnEnglishGoPlaces.com. I wanted to try a different format today, so I wanted to use a PowerPoint presentation to go over a lesson with you guys. And the lesson today is about the structure in English. There is and there are, and the different ways that you can put that into different tenses, like the past tense and the future tense, and things like that. I think this is an important lesson because um, I do notice that some English learners struggle with this structure. Not so much being aware of the structure or recognizing it, but rather sometimes English learners may forget to use this construction, like in the middle of their sentences or in the middle of their conversations. Maybe because in their language it's formed in a different way. So in English, when we talk about there is or there are, we're talking about like the existence of something. Like something is, um, there exists something somewhere. Like for example, if I say there is a pool, there is a swimming pool. I can say there is a public swimming pool um, in in the park, right? And so it just lets you know that in that park there exists a swimming pool, right? And so, but different languages have different tenses to talk about this concept, and so. Or different languages have different structures, I should say, to talk about this concept. And so some languages might say like the park, it has a swimming pool, or it has a swimming pool in the park. But in English we always say there is or there are, right? So it's almost like saying um, let's say in the park there is a swimming pool. It's kind of like saying a swimming pool is there in the park, right? So it's pretty intuitive. um, we're saying what is there, but then we just flip it around and say there is, right? There is for singular things, or there are for plural things. So that's the lesson today. There is, there are. Just remember to use this construction. So we can look at this in the present tense. Obviously, in the present tense, there is or there are. A few examples here. There is a river between Georgetown and Roslyn. So these are some Washington D.C. examples. And for the plural, we can say there are several famous monuments in Washington, D.C. So that's the present tense. And then looking at the past tense, we say there was or there were. So for singular, we use there was. So there was a thunderstorm last night. For plural, we say there were. So several things, we would use there were. There were uh, cherry blossoms in April. Cherry blossoms on the cherry trees. Okay, and then future tense, we say there will be, and there will be can be either singular or plural. So we can say there will be more immigration to the United States in the coming years, or we can say there will be elections next year. Alternatively, we can use the expression there is going to be or there are going to be for the singular and plural, respectively, in the future tense. So I can say there is going to be more immigration to the United States in the coming years. There are going to be elections next year. Okay. And this should say the conditional tense. The conditional tense, there would be. If we had electronic ballots, there would be less voter fraud. If we had better incentives, there would be more primary care doctors, right? So this is talking about um, hypotheticals, right? How things could be different. And then finally, we have the past conditional tense, which is the most complicated. And in this case, we say there would have been. So we use the would, and then we use have, and then we use the past participle of be, which is been. Check out my other video on how to form the past participle if you haven't seen that one. So we say there would have been, right? If we had left on Tuesday, there would have been more time to sightsee, right? So this is a tense that's used to talk about how things could have been different um, if we had done something in the past that we didn't do, right? So this is the past conditional tense. Um, I did want to mention one other thing, which is that when we're using the there is, there are, we typically use this tense. Not, I'm sorry, it's not a tense. The structure. We typically use this structure um, only with um, indefinite um, indefinite articles, right? We can use it also with general nouns like non countable, uncountable nouns. Like um, there was peace in that country at that time. We could say that, or we could say there was a war going on in that country at that time, right? But we don't ever use this construction with definite articles. So we don't ever say like there was the White House or there is the White House in Washington, D.C. We have to say the White House is in Washington, D.C., right? So typically we use this construction with um, indefinite articles, not definite articles. Okay. Um, Okay, that's all I've got for you guys today. I appreciate you joining me. This is a little bit different format than what I've been doing. Just wanted to kind of test out this format. Let me know how you liked it. If this was helpful for you, please leave a comment below. And I want to thank you all for joining me, checking out the video. Please like the video if you found it useful, and you might want to consider subscribing if you find these kinds of videos helpful. Appreciate you guys. Hope you have an awesome day and see you in the next video.